In this video, we'll be dealing with the forgot password page. This project is broadly categorized into two major parts. We have the local sign up and sign in part, and then we have the OAuth part. Okay, so we'll be dealing with we've dealt with sign up, we've dealt with sign in, we've dealt with sign out, and all of that. Okay, so I figured that it is just best for us to complete everything that has to do with the local sign up and sign in part of the project before we proceed to the OAuth part. Okay, and the last part of the local sign up and sign in and all of that is the forgot password. Okay, the forgot password is used by users who forgot their password so that they can reset their password by providing their registered email address. Okay, before we go into this, I remember that throughout the project up to this moment, I've not showed you what our Redis database instance looks like. We've been working with Redis, but I've not showed you what our entries look like in our Redis database. So if you have an active session, you are going to be having this. If you go to your Upstash Redis account, I'm using Upstash, and possibly you are using a different provider, that's fine and good. Just go to your dashboard and go to where you can see the data you have stored in your Redis database. Okay, so this is the usage I have so far on this. This is a free account that I created for this project. Okay, so this is what I've used so far. Upstash has a generous free tier. So if you go to the data browser, okay, so this is the only active session I have right now, and this is the session key. You can see how it looks like. We have base auth, which is the name that we use for our project. Then we have session, and this is the session key that we randomly created. Okay, this is the structure of the user we are storing in our database. We have the ID of the user, and then we have the role. Okay, and this is the expiration time of this session. Okay, it is called time to live. As we can see now, currently this one has 6 days more to live. By default the maximum lifespan of our user session is 7 days, so this one has 6 more days. Okay, this is just an approximation. If you click on this, you're going to see the exact number of seconds that is remaining for this to live. Okay, and you can also edit the remaining lifespan here. If you edit this now and save it, then it's going to update the lifespan of your session. But that is not what we want to do. We've already make provision for updating the expiration time of the user session in our app. Okay, so this is how it looks like. I hope you can see it. Okay, you should be able to see it. So this is the key, and this is the structure of what we are storing in our Redis database. Okay, if you want to verify this now, we can go to our app. Okay, so this is our current session. So if I go to my cookie store now, okay, so you can see now, you can see that we have the same key. Okay, should be okay. So here we have B7782900 and so forth. So if you compare this to what we have in our database, you can see that they are the same. Okay, so that's how it looks like in your Redis database. I just thought of showing you so that do not just be like Redis is an abstract thing that we are working with in our app, and that's that for that. So now we can go back to continue with our project. Okay, I want to close this part, Control Shift I. All right, let me zoom this in. This is our project. Okay, so that you can see this properly. Okay, and okay, so before we start working with the forgot password page, let me walk you through how the whole process works. So when the user click on the forgot password link on the sign in page, it's going to direct them to this page. Okay, so first off, the user needs to provide their email address. All right, so whenever the user provides their email address and they submit, we are going to verify in our database if the account is existing, if there is an existing account on that email address in our database. If there is an existing account, we are going to send a password reset token to the user registered email address. Okay, so the user is going to go to their email inbox and they click on the link. So with that, we'll be able to identify that, all right, so this is the actual owner of this account. And by clicking on the link, we are going to the link is going to direct them to a reset password page, reset password. All right. So on this page, on the reset password page, the token will be verified. If it is valid, then the user is going to have a form to provide their new password. And if it is not valid, the user is going to have something like this. Okay, currently there is no valid token on this link, so that's why we are having this. Assuming there is a valid link coming directly from the user email address, then the user is going to have a form to provide their new password and confirm the password. So with the new password, we are now going to reset the password that is attached to the user account. Okay, so that's how the whole process works. All right, so now we can go ahead to build up our page. Okay, so we are first going to create the forgot password page. This is what it looks like. Okay, in this video will not be writing out all of this. We've done something like this. Even from the structure, you can predict how this looks like. We have a main HTML element. We have this white container that has an heading1 and a paragraph, and then we have the sign. We have the forgot password form with a submit button. Okay, so I'm just going to copy all of this code since we've done something like that over and over again, so that we don't keep repeating typing the same code. Okay, so we're going to go to our app, then we're going to create a page. Okay, so this is going to be forgot password. Okay, that's going to be the name of the directory, and instead of that, we're going to have page.tsx. Okay, so in this page, I'm just going to copy and paste all of the HTML element and components so that we don't have to retype all of this. So we have the main elements, we have the white container, we have the one that carries forgot password text, and then we have this paragraph, which is what you are seeing here. Okay, so after that, we are going to have the forgot password form, which is going to be in a dedicated file. Okay, so we are going to create that in a minute, and then we have this link to go back to the sign in page. Okay, that is this link. All right, so what do we need to do here? So now we need to create the forgot password form. If you want to, if you are coding along, just pause your video and write and type all of this out. Okay, and you can even copy all of this from our previous pages. This has the same styles as we've been having all along. Okay, so let's just save ourselves at that time. So now we need to create our forgot password form. All right, if we save this now, okay, let me comment this out so that you see what our page currently looks like. So if we go to let me save that and go to our okay, so we need to sign out first. Okay, so we click on forgot password, so that's going to lead us to the okay, so this is what the current page looks like. Okay, we have the heading one, we have the paragraph, and we have the sign in link. Okay, so now we need to create a forgot password form. Okay, I'm going to uncomment this. All right, and get rid of this. You can also leave it there. All right, so we are going to go to our component directory. Inside of our forms, we are going to create forgot password form. Forgot password. Let me make this package form.tsx. Okay, in this one also, I'm also going to just copy and paste all of the components. We've created a similar form. We've created similar processing. Okay, so here we are using the submit button. Okay, let me start from the top. All right, so we have field errors. We have the field errors type that is going to contain the structure of the ZOD error in case there is a validation error. Okay, so we have the form state that we're going to use to persist our form data in case there was an error when the user is submitting the data. Okay, okay, so after we have the initial state, we have only email input. If you check this, we have email input. Okay, and this is the form action that we use to handle the data processing on the front end. Okay, so we extracted the email from the form data. All right, and here we validated the email. So I'm going to import Zod at this point, zip from Zod. Okay, so the email is expected to be of data type string, and it should be a valid email. So this is where we validated the email. We passed that. So here we check if the validation is successful. If it is not successful, then we return error and the provided emails to persist the data in the form. Okay, so this is going to be the server action that we are going to use to process the forgot password on our server. We can quickly create the server action before we proceed. So to create that, I'm going to copy the name. All right, I'm going to go to our actions directory. Inside of auth, I'm going to create a new file. Okay, and I'm going to call this forgot underscore password.ts. Okay, so inside of this file, okay, I need to mark this as a use server because we want the function to be a server action. So we have export default. Okay, we are going to have a sync function. All right, and the name is going to be this. So this is going to accept the email. We're just going to call it raw data. Okay, and we're expecting that it's going to be of data type string. All right, so this is going to be returning a simple data structure. So we're going to have an object. Side of the object, we are going to have the sources property, okay, which is going to be boolean for as a dummy return value. Let's say it is true, and the message, we are going to have a response message. Okay, so let's say what should we give as the text? Let's say something for now. Something that is going to be our sources message. Okay, let's console log our raw data so that TypeScript is going to keep quiet. Okay, so we have our raw data. All right, so we can now import the server action in our form. Okay, so I'm going to import that. All right, so we are done with that, and you can see that our response is going to be an object that contains a sources attribute and a message. So at this point, we are going to be checking if sending the password reset email to our user, if it is successful. If it is not successful, we are going to be displaying an error toast to our user to know that, to inform our user that it is not successful. So I just imported the toast function. All right, so if it is not successful, we are returning the data back to the user. Okay, so that they can if it is their email that is not correct, they can easily make changes to their provided email. But if it is successful, then we are going to be showing a success toast to our user, and we return the initial state. Okay, and just in case there was an error, possibly a network error or some unexpected error that occurred when trying to set the password reset email to our user, then we're going to be displaying an error toast to the user, and then we return the email back to the form. Okay, all right, this is what we use to check if the error we are getting from our form action is field error. Okay, we're going to import this. We've done all of this over and over again, so there is no need of typing them out. Okay, we provided the form action, we pass it down to the form. We have a pending state that is going to be true when we are submitting the form. All right, so we have this input. Okay, we need just a single input for the form. Okay, so that's the only input we have. The input is of type email. Okay, we have a place so that we could have used the form input component we'll be using all along. The form input component that we have in our component, we could have, okay, this component, we could have used it, but in this component we'll be using label, not placeholder. So that's why we are not using that. In this page we are using placeholder, not label. All right, so all other things are the same as we've always have them. All right, and then here we have the submit button. I need to import the submit button. Okay, but our submit button is not accepting a class name prop. We could have used the submit button as it were, but this button is having a different style from the previous submit button. So we'll be passing an optional prop to our submit button. So now I'm going to open my submit button file. Okay, I'm going to add an optional prop, which is going to be class name. It's going to be optional, but if it is provided, then it's going to be of data type string. So here I need to accept my class name attribute. Okay, Now I need to pass it down here. So this is going to be template literal. Okay. I'm going to come here. All right, I need to close this. Okay. So what we're going to say is if the class name attribute is provided, then we are going to the class name prop. If it is provided, then we are going to use the class name. But if it is not provided, then we are going to use this as the default submit button styles. Okay. So that's that about the submit button. And with that, we are good to go with our forgot password form. I'm going to save that. Then I'm going to go back to our page. Then I'm going to save this. Okay, so with that, we can test out our. Okay, so what do we have there? We need to make this a client component. All right, so I forgot password. I'm going to come here. Okay, this is the page. I'm going to go to the form. Right, we need to make this a client component. I'm going to come here and then I'm going to say use our client. I'm going to save that. All right, so that's going to turn it to client component. So to test out our forgot password form, I'm going to first provide an invalid email address. Okay, let me try to submit. All right, you can see that our submission was not successful. Okay, if you look at it, for a brief moment, there was a pending state, but we possibly you can't see it now because it is very fast. But as it is now, we are supposed to have an error styling, a red border and a faint red background for our input to notify our user that this input is invalid. But we are not having that styling, so that means there is a little problem with our form. So we're going to go to our form now. What could be the reason? All right, we've done the normal check we normally do, and then we also check. We're also supposed to have this paragraph, but we are not having it for invalid input. So that means something is wrong. Let's see the structure of our error. I'm going to console log the error object now, console.log, so that we can see what could be the problem. So we have states.errors. I'm going to save that. I'm going to open my console, Control Shift R. That's going to open my console for me. Okay, let me refresh the page so that we are sure that. Okay, so currently the error object is undefined because we do not have any error yet. Okay, so I'm going to provide an invalid email address. I'm going to submit that. Okay, so what does our error object looks like? Okay, so all right. Okay, now this is why we are having that error. The reason is because in our error object, we have this underscore errors property, but in our component, we are checking for the email attribute. All right, so the reason why we are not having this email attribute in our error object is because in our form action, we are just doing a normal check. We are not using z.object. We are using z.string directly since we just have only one input. So that is why we are not having the email property on our error object. So to correct that now, at this point, we are not going to be doing all this check. Okay, so what we are going to do here now is to check if the errors object is true. Okay, so let's narrow it down. Let's say dot underscore errors, but okay, so now we have this optional chaining to, because the errors object will not always be true. So if this is available on the error object, then we'll be applying the styles. Okay, so we don't need we don't need this for now. Okay, that's that this one is sufficient for our checking. Okay, we also need to do same at this point. Okay, so I'm just going to copy this. All right, I'm going to paste it here. Okay, so that is supposed to solve our current problem. Okay, I'm going to say that what is the problem? There should be no comma at this point. Okay, please get out. I'm going to close that. So if I save that, okay, I'm also going to paste that here. All right, I'm going to paste that here. Okay, so what is the error for? Okay, we are not using this again. I'm going to clean that up. All right, so now we should have our error styling. if there is an invalid input. So I'm going to, okay, so now you can see that we have error styling. Okay, we also need to make a little adjustment to this styling. This is too far from this. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to wrap the input and the paragraph in a container. All right, let me use wrap with abbreviation. So I'm going to have a div there. Okay, so with that you should have normal styling. Okay, we need to put this by the side there. All right, I'm going to add a text left. Okay, so that's going to put that at the side. All right, so we have validation the way it is supposed to be. So in the next video, we'll be handling sending password reset email to our user. So don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel so that as subsequent videos will be released, you'll be notified. All right, thanks for subscribing, and I'll be seeing you in the next one.